I was actually raised in a Christian family, in a Christian home. My mom and dad were very, very strong believers. We went to church every Sunday. We went to church every Wednesday, went to church every Sunday night. I mean, we were at church a lot. I very much grew up in a Christian church. I also moved around a lot. My father was in the military, so we moved around a lot. We stayed predominantly in the South, Texas in particular. It was interesting growing up in the South because Christianity or religion in general is such a part of Southern culture. So we go to church. Everybody puts on their Sunday best. You're just around people who say that they're Christians a whole lot. And for me, growing up, one of the things that was always kind of interesting was that we would go to a church. Everybody would, again, be in their Sunday best. They'd be in their suits. You were expected to act a certain way. Everybody would stand up, sit down, sing songs. Everybody had their Bibles. Everybody was taking notes. And so often, one of the things that I noticed growing up was that, by the time we get out in the parking lot, road rage was pretty much kick in. People are honking at each other. They're mad at each other because they want to hurry up and get home for Sunday lunch or something. So it was just so interesting seeing, growing up in that environment where, okay, everybody say that they're Christians, but, as soon as we'd step out of the church, it was just something completely different. And so for me, that was just something that I kind of grew up with. But again, my mom and dad were very, very strong believers. And so just kind of seeing that difference was again, it was just something that really stood out to me. When I was about 17 years old, I finally got fed up with quite frankly, just the hypocrisy of what I kept seeing as I was growing up. And I completely walked away, just completely walked away from the church, didn't want to have anything to do with Christ, with God, with Christians. I think back now on some of the things that I said, and it was just, I cringe at some of the things that I said and some of the things that I did. I was living very much for myself at that point. Everything was about me. I was married when I was 21, divorced when I was 24 because of my own unfaithfulness. Everything was about me. Ruined a lot of relationships, including relationships with my own family. And so that was kind of me off of my own. As I was pursuing my own goals, my own desires, and again, just thinking about myself, I ended up back in San Antonio, back in Texas, and I've been there for about 3 years. And a friend of mine from Los Angeles called me up, and she basically said, "Hey, are you doing anything?" And I said, "No." She was, "I think you need to move to LA." And we had been having some conversations about me wanting to get out of San Antonio anyways, and so I said, "Sure, yeah, not a problem." And again, thinking about myself, I left my roommate with a brand new contract on a brand new apartment. We had just moved in, and I just up and bailed out on him. It must have been 2 months later. I just bailed out on him and just stuck him with the whole thing. And so again, just thinking about myself, I wanted to move to LA, and so I moved out here again, pursuing my own goals, my own worldly desires. I wanted to come out and make a lot of money, and that's really what it came down to. And I was able to meet up with some guys that were very successful in business. They had everything that I thought I wanted. They had the nice cars, the suits, the money, everything. And that was everything that I thought I wanted. And it was kind of interesting though, because at this point, as I was hanging out with these guys, at one point, one of them invited me to a Bible study. And again, I walked away when I was 17 years old. I was probably about 29 at this point. It was about 29 or 30 at this point. So it had been almost 13 years. And I went to a Bible study with some of these guys. And one of the things that just stood out, that more than anything else from when I was growing up, was just how real some of these guys were. And that really struck home. It really, really struck home, just again, how real these guys were. Some of the guys in the group, the things that they would say or the things that they would talk about in Bible study, they would live that way in their life. And it was so different from the church that I had grown up in. And so I started spending some more time with these guys and really started to just kind of reconnect with God and with Christ, with Christianity, with the church, just really reconnect. And it was very refreshing, again, just how real everything was. Through that, I I can honestly say that that was the point where I became a Christian. All of a sudden, it wasn't a relationship with God and Christ through my parents or a relationship with God and Christ through my culture, but instead it was really it was really about my relationship with God and my relationship with Christ, and it was phenomenal. And so, just through a series of events, I ended up just at Antioch as well. And one of the things that just really stands out to me about Antioch is, again, just how real everybody is. The fact that the pastor wears a t-shirt and jeans. Oh my gosh, you would never see that back in Texas. If they're not wearing a suit, then they can't be a pastor. So it sounds kind of goofy, but little things like that just really stand out. The fact that people are just transparent. Some of the conversations I've had with people, we're not perfect. They're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Christ was perfect, but that's it. And so just to be able to be around guys that are that real is just phenomenal. It's been great for me and my family. My name is Chris Crouch, and that's my story. We are Antioch.